Carrie from Stretch Sheet. We're just going to do a little problem solving now for your chest and biceps. Thanks for trying out this video. I think you'll find problem solving to be pretty cool. We're just going to do a handful of stretches, and then we'll do some stretches to stretch out that muscle that we were just working on, the one that brought you into this stretch. And then you can actually go back to the old video that you had before. Couple things first, of course. If you haven't done Ki-Hara Resistance Stretching before, watch the video right up here that says watch this first, Ki-Hara rules. Those are the rules for Ki-Hara. That way you'll know exactly how to do this method. There won't be any questions. But since we're already in a problem solving video, you should also know that we're not going to problem solve any of the stretches in this video, because that's the whole point of the video. We're already problem solving. So if there's any stretches that we're doing during this video that just don't feel right to you, if they don't feel good, if they don't feel like what I say, then feel free to skip that stretch. The way problem solving works is that we are focusing on one muscle group that we're trying to open up. So right now it's for your chest and your biceps, kind of through this front line. We're going to work on some muscles in the back and on the top and in your legs and kind of all over to see if we can figure out where the block is. Now, if we find the block, it'll actually feel really good. But if we're in another stretch that doesn't feel good, then it's not the block. So if you find yourself doing a stretch that doesn't feel good, you just skip it, because it's not important today. If it doesn't feel good later in another video, then you can problem solve that one, okay? So for now, just skip any stretches that don't feel good, and when you finish this video, go ahead back to the one you were doing before and try that one out if it's different than the one that we end up doing today, okay? All right. That being said, let's start with our rotator cuff stretch. Bring your hands together, raise your thumbs right over the crown of your head, and you're just going to squeeze your elbows together. It's kind of like if you were trying to pop a balloon between your arms. When you do this stretch, you want to keep your elbows up at about nose level, and you're going to feel a stretch through the back of your shoulders. Remember to resist the whole time. So it's kind of pretend resistance, like that balloon popping and then the balloon opens but you don't want it to. You'll notice that there's probably some tension in your hands, but really the muscles that you're working are in the back of your shoulders back here. So you should feel that in the back of your shoulders. If you don't, it's okay, just skip it. Or if you do feel it in the back of your shoulders but it's kind of intense, just go a little smaller, like smaller range of motion. Or maybe bring your hands down just a little bit, see how that works for you. Okay? Easy one. Let's go into the next stretch. This one's for your deltoids. So you're going to bring your right arm in close to your body, grab your wrist with your left hand, and resist like you're trying to pull both arms apart. Then push up towards the ceiling with your right arm while you pull down with your left. Then use your left hand to pull you down towards your hip, and your head will go to the side. And then up for strength. And down for stretch. We're going to do anywhere from like 6 to 10 of these if it feels good. Again, if it doesn't feel good, just skip it. You can sit however you want for this stretch or for the stretch before, it doesn't matter. Really any stretch, unless I tell you specifically to have your feet in a position, you can sit however you want. You could even stand up and do this or sit in your chair, it's not a big deal. This stretch you should feel on the top of your shoulder here through your deltoid. It should feel pretty good, hopefully. And again, if it doesn't, just skip it. No big deal. Let's do one more of these. Up for strength and down for stretch. And your head to the side at the end. And then we'll do your left arm. Bring your elbow in close to your body. Grab your wrist with your right hand and resist like you're pulling both arms apart. Push up towards the ceiling with your entire arm. It's like a deltoid raise. Then use your right arm to push you back down. When you get close to your hip, you're going to tilt your head over to the right this time. See if you can catch some stretch over here on your left side through your neck and the top of your shoulder. Up for strength and down for stretch. Again, anywhere between 6 to 10. And if you feel pain or if this just doesn't feel right to you, or if you don't feel that stretch on the top of your shoulder, don't worry about it. Just skip it and move on to the next stretch. Up for strength and down for stretch. Pushing up, you're shortening your deltoid here. On the way down, the deltoid here is lengthening against resistance. So if you slipped, your arms would fly apart. Your head will turn to the side at the end to get a little more stretch through. Up for strength, and then down for your stretch. Let's do one more. Up for strength, and down for stretch. Your head to the side. Nice. Okay, the next stretch we're gonna do is for the front of your shoulders. You're gonna come down into a position sort of like a crab walk with your feet in front of you and your fingers facing towards your feet. My elbows are relatively straight, not completely straight, but I'm not intentionally bending them either. It's just kind of like if you were sitting, you know, on the ground and you just had your hands behind you comfortably, like you were just hanging out. Then from here, we're gonna curl in. So you're gonna turn your shoulders in towards your sternum. That's this bone in the front of your chest, right in front of your heart. You're gonna pull your shoulders in towards your sternum and then use your arms to lift your sternum up towards the ceiling. You can bring your neck back if you want. Curl in for strength and everything curls up. And then push your chest up towards the ceiling and open your arms up for your stretch. So your shoulders are curling in and then your shoulders are curling open. In for strength and push up for stretch. And again, we're doing about 6 to 10. If you feel anything painful, just skip this stretch. If you don't want to put your neck in, that's okay, you don't have to, but if you do, just make sure that it feels very controlled the whole time. So as I come up, if I bring my neck back, I'm only going as far back as I feel like I can pull it back up without strain. So I don't just let my head fly back there. That weighs too much. That thing's full of too much information. And then pull back. Good, nice work. All right, the next stretch we're gonna go into is for your hip flexors. Remember that problems in the top can sometimes be caused by problems in the bottom. So let's work through some of these psoas muscles in the front of your hip. So you're gonna come into a lunge position. Bring your right leg in the front and your left leg behind. And you're gonna scissor your legs, like you're trying to pull your right leg back and your left leg forward. Use your front leg to pull you into the lunge. Keep your body upright. It's almost like you lift your shoulders up towards the ceiling. And then use your back leg to pull you back. And you just go back and forth. Your right leg wins. Get your body upright. And then your back leg wins and pulls you into the strength training position, which is more like you're curled up into a ball. The front leg will pull you out of the ball. And so you just go back and forth. In for strength and pulling open for your stretch. And back and forth, pulling in for strength and pulling open for your stretch. It should feel like a stretch right here in the front of your hip. If you don't feel that, it's okay. Skip the stretch. Go on to the next. And we'll do one more stretch. You're gonna pull in with this leg. You're gonna pull your body forward. And then we'll try the other side. So now I'm gonna put my left leg in the front and my right leg's behind. I'm gonna try to pull this leg back while the other leg tries to pull forward. And I'll use my left leg to pull me into a lunge. I'm not leaning my body onto my left leg, and I'm not leaning forward. I'm actually just pulling my body forward, but I'm leading from my hips. And then you pull your hips back. So now my hips are coming back this way, and then my hips are gonna come forward this way. My chest stays up. So I'm not actually letting my head come over my, in front of my hips, like I'm not leaning this way. I'm actually leaning back and pulling into the stretch. Again, you should feel the stretch in the front of your hip, this time on the right side. If you don't feel that, then just stop. Or if you feel pain or something doesn't feel right, if your knees hurt, whatever, let it go. You don't need this stretch today. And back and forth, pulling forward for strength and back for stretch. Nice work. Now we're going to go back to the stretch that we started with, the stretch for the front of your chest. I'm going to do this one like a downward dog, but if you happen to be doing a different stretch that's kind of in the same category, then feel free to do this one and then go back to that one, or just skip this one altogether and go right back to the one that you started with. Should be pretty easy for you to find it. You just go back into your history in YouTube and you'll find it, or just click the back button and it should take you right back to that stretch, okay? We're gonna go into a stretch similar to downward dog. And the way this stretch works is, it's a calf stretch, but it's also a chest stretch. You're most likely gonna feel it in your calves. But the reason that you're coming to this video is probably because you felt this stretch in the back of your shoulders. So now what I'm hoping is that you won't feel it in the back of your shoulders anymore. So let's go ahead onto all fours. You're gonna bring your hands right under your shoulders and come up to a position where your heels are off the floor, but your legs are straight. Then use your feet to push you up so that you're on your toes, and your shoulders are just over your wrists. But notice that my hips are bent here, and I'm not in a plank position like you would do in downward dog. You'd kind of come into this position. We're not actually gonna go into a straight hip position, but keep your hips bent. Then from here, push with your arms to bring your heels towards the floor, and you can push your head through to stretch the muscles in the front of your arm. So you'll come up for strength and down for stretch, pushing your head through so that you can get that stretch in your chest as well. If you only feel it in your calves, that's okay. But you also want to notice if you're feeling this in the back of your shoulders, which we don't want. You want the stretch in the front of your chest or in the front of your armpit and the calves. So when I'm doing this stretch, I feel it through here, but also because I've been stretching my calves, I'm okay to do this stretch and get a stretch in my chest and my calves. If your calves are really tight, that's all you're gonna feel, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. Your chest is getting stretched. But like I said before, if you're feeling something up here, if you're feeling it in your rotator cuff, if you're feeling it in the back of your shoulders, it could mean that there's a deeper problem that needs to be fixed. If that's the case, just look down in the description below and I have a link to my website. You can go to my website, fill out a little form, send me an email, and I can start a conversation with you on what you need to do. You may need to do a private session with me. I can do those online, or I can do them at my studio in Chicago. You could come to class in Chicago if you're around, or it may just be that I need to send you a different video. So I may just send you off to do something different. So feel free to reach out, because I'm a resource and I'm happy to share with you guys as much as I can. Also, if you're enjoying these videos, if Ki-Hara is working for you, then do me a favor and thumbs up this video. Give it a little yay. Give me a comment. Let me know if this worked for you. Let me know how you feel. And also, super important, click that little button on the side that says subscribe, the little arrow box. Click that, subscribe to the channel, and next to the subscribe button there's a little bell icon. If you click the bell icon, it's going to remind you to stretch twice a week when I send out these videos. That way you'll be sure to never forget to stretch. And this is important, you guys, so you better be stretching. Best way to remember is just to get a little notification on your phone that's like, hey, Carrie just posted a video about stretching. It's pretty cool. Okay, well thanks for being here, guys. I'll see you soon. Leg days on Mondays, arm days on Wednesdays. See you then. Bye-bye.